Hello and welcome to another LinkedIn Live at CustomerGauge. How's everybody doing out there? Great to be here. I'm joined by an amazing group of people today from the CustomerGauge crew. Obviously, we have Mr. Adam Dorrell, the CEO. Welcome,
Hi.
Adam. We're also joined by Camilla Scholten, our amazing COO and co-founder. How are you doing, Camilla?
Great, Ian. What a week, eh?
What a week indeed. And then obviously we have our head of product, Trishaala Chengappa. Welcome, Trish.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get into it. What a week for CustomerGauge. Not only did we change the name, but we launched what we believe is going to be just revolutionary in the space. We're super excited to bring it to the market. I think we've been working on this behind the scenes for about 6 months. Let's just get into it. Adam, in your talk, you kind of mentioned this term called the post-dashboard world, that we're now in the post-dashboard world. Give us a little flavor about what that means and what people should expect moving forward.
Yeah, thanks, Ian, for inviting us today. Yeah, look, if you think about what we've been doing in CustomerGauge for the last 15 years, 18 years since we've been doing it, it's been very much based on dashboards. I don't know if you can switch to the screen. I've got one queued up here just to sort of illustrate what I mean by that. Yeah, this is a really great example of a dashboard that we have in CustomerGauge. There's many widgets on here. By the way, top left here, you can see Gaige. This is a thing that trips everybody's pronunciation up here. But lots of things, you can see graphs in here to see stats. It's a really good way of doing it, but as I said, I think you can switch off on that for a second. Is that there's, nobody needs more dashboards in their life. You just need some clarity of thought. And usually you need somebody, think of it like a graph whisperer who's able to take that data and bring it to life. And now we have this because what AI is able to do is to work with the underlying data that produces the charts like that and summarize that in a human form. And then not only that, you can ask it questions in plain language and get answers back. Keep noodling on it so you can iterate until you get to the right answer. That's what I love about it. And that's why I think we're in a post-dashboard world, because it just gives more interaction than we've ever had before.
Yeah, and I think you gave a great example of, I think it was actually a comment that you had of like, no executive has ever said, hey, give me another dashboard, which is really, like that's so accurate. So, and you gave the second example of going into a boardroom scenario and being able to just say, all right, guys and gals, like, what do you want to see from your customer base? What do you want to know? And you can just ask it anything in the moment and get really precise answers, which I think is
I think this can transform the way that CX people present their results. Yeah. Because typically they've been going in there with PowerPoint decks, let's be honest, probably 20 slides with another 40 in the background. Am I right? To say, this is our customer experience. But imagine just saying, yeah, we're not going to do that today. We're just going to ask the questions that everybody in this room wants to know, starting with, what are our customers telling us recently that we need to pay attention to? That transforms it, right? So that's what I'm really excited about.
So that alone is such a big deal, to be able to kind of rework how you can interact with customer data. But I think, Camilla, you said something really interesting on the live the other day as well, about how we're disrupting this long-standing model of expensive consultants in the CX space. We all have seen these. There's big contracts out there for people that are doing a ton of work in customer data, present it back to you. We kind of think that model is dead in the water at this point. Do you want to kind of hit on that for a bit?
Yeah, thanks. Well, I think what we see is that this revolution, so Gaige revolutionizes the access to this sort of more deeper insights data analysis. So yes, for consultants, I think this is a really interesting movement. We were even getting it back from some of our customers that are using it now. Some of the analysis that Gaige can present you with within seconds or minutes would normally have taken somebody very skilled 2 weeks to run. Yeah. So it's transformational.
I think the thing that you mentioned that got me really excited, because I'm obviously in marketing. I've been building content for you guys for a decade now. Gaige takes all of those best practice pieces of content from our blog, from our academy, and that's thousands of hours of content, and it actually presents it. So not only are we giving people the data they need from their customer information, but we're also training and giving insights on how to improve, like real time from the Gaige model, which I'm really excited about. Wow,
yeah, true.
And
the beauty of it is that, you know, you also sometimes have to really scrutinize your own data, whereas here you get scrutinize Gaige, which sort of already takes out some of the effort. It's much easier to scrutinize somebody else's work than it is your own, and it really short circuits the time that you spend on it, but also the access. This now no longer requires you to have a certain background in data analysis, and it's just actually we all learn from these great questions that we've even been asking Gaige ourselves. Like Adam was asking things about hidden patterns in the data, and so we all inspire each other to ask really good questions. You know, after we were finished just asking it a ton of ridiculous questions, which it also actually answers very lovely. So yeah,
great. Well, speaking of Gaige, should we jump into it quickly? Adam, do you want to give a couple snapshots of it?
Yeah, I'm really happy to do this. If you can switch to my screen, Trish and I were able to put some, just a few questions in earlier on. So this is what I did just to get ready. Make an executive summary with trend charts for the last year. So this is giving us a year's worth of data, right, Trish? Yeah. And I love the way it puts the graphs in. I mean, so all I said was, please put in some trend charts. And it's been able to give me the data here, the monthly NPS trend I've got here. Look, response volume, I didn't even ask it for that. It just knows the key things to foreground in the system here. Loyalty distribution over time. And then it tells me a little bit about how the loyalty has changed for those accounts. So this is already really interesting, right? It's looking and seeing how the clients are moving, whether they're going from a detractor to a promoter, right? Yeah.
Amazing.
Then we look into the areas of sentiments, some major achievements here. But look, here's the thing: critical concern. Look, we've got a recent decline from 62 NPS to -100 in September. What do we need to look at that? Well, maybe there might be a data issue. If we go back up here, we can see that the response rate has dropped off. So maybe there's just one or two comments on here. This is really good. So I'm looking at some long-term goals. I love this. And then
Adam,
I can go to
Sorry, just a quick one to jump in. I remember that we were asked a lot of the times to interpret the data, whereas this is no longer needed. It really is interpreted for you. So normally a chart requires sometimes a little bit of explaining, and that's why we love a dashboard, because it tells a story. But here you get all the subtext, all the things that are important to take out of a graph. So it does a lot of what, Ian, your first question was about these insights teams.
Yes.
Gaige does that for you.
Yeah. Let me give you another example here. Here's one I put together. Can you summarize recent comments?
Yep.
So Trish, what it's done, roughly how many comments has it taken for this, do you think? A few hundred or something like that?
It kind of paginates it. As you can see, this one, it picked up 25 comments, but you can kind of keep asking it to get more. And it does look for what you are asking from it. It could be, what are some of the great marketing comments that you find from our promoters? It also will come back and tell you, this is great for the blog, this is great for your website, this is great for your video case studies, etc. So it really does give you the depth of the detail along with the information. It's not just about the numbers.
Okay, so I'll start asking it to get some positive comments from marketing. Yeah. So and while it's doing that, what I can see here, it's got something in blue. And if I click on this, what's going to happen?
It always gives you the underlying information. So you can go down and see who that person was, where was this information pulled in from, etc.
Right. So this then goes back into sort of the CustomerGauge light mode.
It does.
By the way, I've noticed something. So it goes dark mode is kind of prevalent here for what we no, I'll probably have to go again with the new chat. But why is it dark mode? What was the thinking behind that?
So we did have some very different visuals when it came to Gaige and its existence around the platform. We wanted to make sure that also from our customer standpoint, it was very, very easy to spot around all the different capabilities that Gaige currently powers.
Yeah.
So it does come with the dark mode in those areas and has some visual cues that you can use.
And what I saw when before it asked me a question, there are some tablets on there giving some suggested questions already. I really like that. It kind of gives me a way into that. How did you come up with those questions?
Oh, we had a whole mind map before the launch. We kind of listened to our customers, asked them what would they really love to know if they had something like this. And from that, we kind of saw what were most common patterns, and we've got a whole library. So I think that is really exciting to see how different people ask questions, but also all the kind of questions people love to ask Gaige.
I got a couple of other examples here that I was also able to pull out from Gaige AI. So this is an account summary. So this is looking at one particular account. So why would we use this? What would we use for?
So this is great if you just want a quick summary on the health of that particular account. You're an account manager, you've got a meeting that's coming up. One click of a button, Gaige has looked through the history of this particular account.
In which case we call this one Snack Dash.
In this case, we call it Snack Dash. Everything that we know about Snack Dash across the different touch points. So it then gives you the trend. It tells you whether there's a likelihood that this customer would buy more. Is it a great time to have that conversation with them? It kind of goes into the details as well of who said what, because I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And also what are some of the pain areas that Gaige is spotting, or what are some of the positive areas that your customers are calling out. But it does it all in a matter of few seconds, that you've got an entire summary about this particular account.
This is great, and it's got real things that we could do. So if I was having like a one-to-one meeting with a client, I'd be able to pull this up in time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is great. So lots of things here. Ian, are you seeing this okay?
Yeah, amazing. This is one of my favorite pieces, honestly. Yeah, great.
I just want to make sure if Camilla's still with us. If Camilla, have you got any other comments on this before you go?
She already cut out. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
let's maybe
do one more thing on it. Trish and I can do that. If we can just go back to the screen again, because Trish, one of the things I don't think we highlighted so much in the demo the other day is that all of the support articles and our best practices in.
Yes.
So I asked this question earlier on, how can I persuade my frontline staff to close the loop? So where does this information come from?
This information comes from all of that knowledge we've kind of done in the last 20 years, whether that's our ebooks, whether that's our published articles, white papers, blogs. It's taking in all of that intel and then providing you responses based on your question. So it knows everything that CustomerGauge has. So
again, this is enhancing the role of a CX manager, because it's almost like acting like a culture consultant to bring that to life.
And it can do very, very practical elements as well. You can definitely ask it for a phone script to continue on this, saying, hey, how do I help my frontline close the loop? What's a great email script? What's a great phone conversation script for a detractor for this industry? So you can really go very deep into how you are asking Gaige to assist you. Again, within a few minutes, you've got your entire plan that you can start putting in place to help your teams.
It does feel like we're just scratching the surface with this. I also asked another difficult question. I asked about how to do single sign-on.
The hot topic.
Which is in the support section of
CustomerGauge. You can pretty much ask Gaige any question on the CustomerGauge platform, from being able to set up API integrations to single sign-on setups, campaigns, anything you want to know about the platform, Gaige can assist you with.
So that takes me straight to the support article. I click on it. And then I also asked it this thing about configuring my APIs. I'm a bit of a techie nerd, so this has got everything in here. Oh, wow. And even the right code to use. This is amazing. Really good. Oh, thanks for allowing me to share that. Now, since we've set this live, there was a couple of things. Customers can see how many interactions they've got at the bottom of the screen here, right?
Yes, they can see how many interactions they've got across all the different capabilities that Gaige powers.
Okay, and so there's credits loaded in there for customers use already.
Yeah.
And do you have a sense about what percentage of our customers have already started digging in? I mean, we've only had it for 2 days.
Oh, it is a large percentage of our customers that have already started digging in. I'd like to say more than a third of our customers. And we're seeing some really exciting interactions going on in there. We're also getting some great feedback points from customers.
Oh,
Let's dive into that, Trish. What are you hearing?
I think one of my favorites, and I think this is something it kind of also touched base from what we did live, is it helped them do something in 15 minutes, which they typically would have taken a few hours or even a day to produce. And to listen, to hear that back from your customers is, what you want to hear. And I think the other side is also that we kind of almost made their dream come true with this. I think sometimes you imagine that you want something like this while you're kind of chipping away making your presentation. But to kind of just say, okay, go into your system and ask the system to do that for you, it's like, I think, something they might have not thought possible so quickly. Yeah. So we're really loving all the feedback that we're getting, the interactions that we're having as we're kind of getting customers to work with this.
I personally got a lot of praise for this. People messaging me, and I had one of our older consultants that we've been working with for some time. He goes, I'm out of a job now. Actually, what he said, I can now retire early, which I thought was a bittersweet thing to say, but I think there is something about it. I actually think that it empowers people who are smart to make a bigger difference in the business. Yeah. It's not going to put anybody out of business, because the more you listen to the customer data, the closer you can get. So I think it's a good sign.
All right, so we got one more thing to chat about. So we're gonna do a product AMA. So this is for customers and even prospects. If you want, show up, ask Trish and the team any questions you'd like. This will be at 3 p.m. CET and 9 a.m. Eastern time next Thursday. Same exact time as this live. We'll be here. We'll be on this channel. Pop in, say hi, ask us some questions. I'm sure Trish would be really excited to talk to you.
But this is going to be more on the technical side, about digging in how you can ask maybe the right sort of questions, any limitations.
Ask us anything.
Security, legal. Yeah. Okay.
On that bombshell, Adam and Trish, thank you for being here. Camilla, thanks for joining up as well. Another fantastic CustomerGauge Live. If you guys want to sign up for the AMA, there's a QR code in the upper left-hand corner right here that you can click. But yeah, thank you for joining. We'll catch you next week, same time, same place. And let's go celebrate CustomerGauge with an AI in the name now. That's a big thing. So we're excited.
There you go.